I think I like Evos too much. Oh wait, no such thing. What is up guys? So welcome back to the channel. Today is gonna be the day that we actually drive the car. And by the car, I mean the car. The car that we've been working on for, seems like it's been a few years now, but in reality, it hasn't really been that long. A couple things I'm noticing this morning. Power steering is leaking and it looks like it's coming from either the top or the bottom of that fitting right there. So there's an O-ring in there we gotta replace. A little bit of oil on the ground right there. Wait, is that power steering? That might be power steering. That might be from the same leak. I do know that the turbo return AN line, I think it's the dash 8, is leaking a little bit. We need to pick up a little seal. Or it's like a copper or aluminum, I forget what they call it. I think it's like a conical seal or something like that. Fix those two little issues. Got to do the Walbro 450, install that, hardwire it in so it's a constant 12 volts. Get our wideband working so we can data log the car, and then we could probably go drive it. Oh wait, we should probably align it as well and maybe put all the lug nuts on it. And then if we have time, it'd be nice to figure out that whine. The whine may be coming from the power steering pump. If it's leaking, that might be causing some whinage going on inside that pump. First things first, let's go ahead and do the fuel pump. I have been putting this off just because I don't like working with fuel. Why? What is this? I thought I ordered a Walbro 450. I don't even know what pump this is. This is the hardwired kit, I'm fairly sure. Feels like a hardwired kit. It's just a bunch of wiring with a relay. This pump has got me confused. What is this thing? TI Automotive. It looks like a 450. I'm gonna have to do some research on this. I don't remember ordering this pump. Maybe it is like a repackaged Walbro 450. That's a little sus. Okay, well I went on my phone, typed in the number, which is F90274 on Google, and it pops up with a TIA, which I'm assuming means TI Automotive, -2 450 LPH Walbro E85 fuel racing fuel pump. And that's right on Walbro's website. That's a little confusing. All right, well, I guess that'll work. So there's that. I'll have it linked down below. I think I picked that up off of MEP. And then this, I know I ordered off MEP. Beautiful. This makes life simple. You can kind of fab up your own hardwire kit, but this for like $35 or $40 is so well worth it. So that and that. Nice little simple setup should allow us to make a little bit more sauce than a 255. A 255 is not going to be enough for this car, for this setup. Fuel pump removal is very simple. Remove the rear seat, just the lower section down there. Under that rear seat is a cover. Pull off the cover, it'll expose the fuel pump. Whoever designed that, I don't like you. They could have made that hole an inch bigger and it'd have been perfect. Someone has already, and it may have been me in the past when I did the 255, it's all bent up around the fuel pump. So I'm gonna bend it back up so we can get the fuel pump out. When we get the fuel pump hanger back in, we can bend it back down. That is so whack. Okay, so some serious modifications are required to install a 450 into the factory hanger. So this is a 255, this is the 450. You can see side by side, this guy is a little bit taller and obviously much more girthy on the ass end of her down here. So the first thing we are going to do is, let's see, take this. I'm trying to remember when I did it on my black car. There's these two barbs right here. We're gonna cut the first barb off. Beautiful. That's done. Now we have to disassemble this thing. We're gonna be cutting this hanger, so take everything off the hanger. This next step is a little bit sketchy, so if you're not comfortable cutting apart your hanger, I would recommend just paying someone to do it. Or don't be a little baby and do it yourself, because it's really not that hard. So we're gonna be cutting about, what would that be, a 1/4 of an inch? So right below that clip, we're gonna trim all the way around this guy, okay? This whole circle here. That part's done. I'm gonna clean it up with a knife, and then I'm actually gonna go through this. It's completely empty right now, but we're gonna go through, rinse it out with just plain water, and then blow it off with compressed air. Make sure you blow anything out. You can plug these before you cut, but I would recommend blowing it out either way, just so you don't get anything stuck inside this guy. Put a little nitrile O-ring on there, OEM grommet, or the gasket goes back on. This we're gonna cut off and rewire later on, but for now, let's see if she'll fit. Oh boy, she's gonna be a tight one. Okay, it fits. It's tight, but it fits. Tight is better than loose. Let's go ahead and get this thing wired up. And by that I mean like the internal pump wiring. Hardwire is done separately. That's done outside the car or outside the tank. Step 1, cut. Take this, throw in the garbage. Step 2, cut all these guys off. This black connector is the one for the old fuel pump. Now we have to connect all these. So black, black, and black all go together. Red and blue go together. You can solder these if you want. I've always used, and I really, really like these things. I'm sure I'll get some hate for it, but it's okay. These solder and seal connectors, they're literally just like a heat shrink connector with solder, I guess you could say, built into it. And you heat it up with a heat gun, and these things shrink right onto the wire. That solder is like a low temp solder, so it's super handy. I love these things. I use them all the time. Nice tight connections, cannot pull them apart. From here, straight assembly. Fairly simple thing to do, these pumps. Okay, here is our 100% completed fuel pump hanger with the Walbro 450 installed. I did add these 2 zip ties on here just to make sure the pump doesn't slide out at all, because these clips are really hard to get on, and I wanted to make sure it was gonna stay. This thing is ready to go back in the car. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up and make sure that fuel pump does not leak. Let's do a little cold start for the boys. We're all good. Let's go ahead and get this hardwire out of the way. It's a fairly simple process as well. Yeah, let me show you guys how it's done. So while the seat's still out, go ahead and remove this cover right here. Pull back the carpet. And right here is the fuel pump wiring. I believe it's this top connector here. I believe this guy here is what we need to work on. We're gonna go ahead and cut this wire off, and we're gonna wire the relay into this. So long story short, let me break it down for you real quick. Red wire is gonna run to the battery, black is ground. The blue wire is gonna go to the harness side of that white wire, and then yellow is gonna connect to the pump side of that white wire. Okay, if you're gonna hardwire, this is all you need to know. Yellow wire off the relay, this is for the DW kit. Yellow wire runs to the white wire right here. White wire was cut, so the blue wire runs to the white wire, which goes into this connection right here. Black wire, ground, red wire runs back, has that fuse in it, and we're gonna connect that to the battery. That's all you gotta do, that's all you need to know. I'll have it linked down below. Relay sits nice right there, and all you gotta do, tuck that carpet back, reinstall the cover, and you'll never know. Beautiful. All right, let's see if she'll fire up. As long as we got it wired correct, we should be good. We are gonna have to do some adjusting on our fuel pressure regulator. I'll talk to Chag and see what he wants me to set it at. I'm guessing we're gonna shoot for around like 45 PSI of base pressure though. Right now we're around 52 PSI. Okay, we're all done with the fuel system stuff for now. We may have to upgrade some stuff later on, but for now I think we'll be aight. Let's go ahead and get our wideband wired up and then we can go on a little drive. We should probably put some gas in this thing, make sure our fluids are topped off, and then go drive around the block and make sure it runs and drives, and then probably come back to the shop and fix some more things on it. What's the problem, Bobby? What's making all this racket?
I would assume it is that. Right there.
What is that?
It's the power steering.
Like Bob said, pretty sure this power steering pump is shot, which sucks. Bobby and I were having a discussion, right? I have other pumps here. I got like 2 spares when I bought all these Evos down in California, but they're so damn crusty. And look at the pump. It's like right there. So, and I don't want to wait for a brand new OEM pump to come in.
Baby.
What do I do?
You legit have one option. What? Okay, you have 2 options. So first option is you put a crusty one in and you can polish it later.
No.
Not an option.
That's a half-ass.
Second option is to just wait. Or steal it out of this car.
8 and a 10 slightly variants. I could still drive it with that shitty pump.
Oh, let's go.
Well, we need to make the brakes work. So we got the brakes bled. A big shout to Bob the builder.
Babe.
She came in clutch, quite literally, as she's pushing the clutch to bleed the clutch as well.
You're so kind of a silly head.
We bled the clutch. Is that a Kubota? Bled the clutch, bled the brakes. Brakes feel titties, clutch feels titties. Well, it needs to be adjusted a smidgen. We have an engine oil leak coming from the turbo return. It's like a -8 or -10. I don't really know because I'm not very smart. So we're gonna go grab some of those little crush washer type things I was talking about earlier. And then we need to figure out what the hell we're doing with this power steering pump, which is stressing me out.
It's a SMA.
Well, goddamn. It's like one of those things that you just don't want to fix, but you have to fix. And then we can go drive the car. We have to drive it today, like a little bit. I need to data log it, get some miles on her. I do need a bolt as well. I was gonna grab that bolt. We have a spare power steering pump right here. It's a little bit crusty, and I don't know the exact plan yet, but what I do know is I'm fairly confident that this pump is the culprit of the noise. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this pump off. I believe it's a bolt there, one right there, and then 2 underneath, and the whole pump with the bracket should come off as soon as we pull off the serpentine belt. When we get this pump off, I'll pull it apart. Obviously we put something together wrong when we assembled it, or something was already worn out. I'm not sure exactly why it's whining, but she's a whiny little B word, so let's take it off real quick. What we're gonna do, just to confirm, this is my thought process real quick. I don't wanna tear into that one if the pump is not the problem. That took, what, 8 minutes to remove? 8 to 9 minutes total to remove. So I'm just gonna take the other pump, slap it on the car real quick with like half the bolts. It'll probably take 2 minutes to do this test. Bleed the power steering and see if it's still making that noise. If it is, we rule out the power steering being the problem. We can put our new Devin Niemela rebuilt janky ass, put the pump back on the car and move on to the next situation, which hopefully it's the pump. This, because I'm just making such a mess. She looks a little dry. Wonder why. Reminds me of someone else I know. Dry as a pancake.
What?
That fucker's crusty. I would not run that. I'll know right off the bat if she's the culprit. I don't even need to bleed it, to be honest. We're gonna need more power steering fluid if we keep swapping these damn pumps around.
All right, fire up. That was the culprit?
What a fucking joke. There's oil everywhere, all over my car.
We can hose her off.
Okay, well, clearly the pump was the issue here. So I'm gonna pull the old pump apart real quick and see what is going on. Can I just buy a brand new OE? Did they make a brand new OEM pump still? Maybe I'll just do that. It's probably like 10 grand though. It's probably worth more than my whole life savings. Why is that pump being so sus?
Baby, it's not. That one?
That one.
You're gonna have to look it over.
Okay, let's pull it apart. Okay, so what we just did is took both of the power steering pumps, took the internals out of the known good one, put them into the new, freshly Cerakoted one, and I found one thing that was backwards in our old pump, and that may or may not have caused a problem, not really sure, but the new pump is on. Let's go fire it up and see what happens.
Why did you see that part?
Fuck you. You're so annoying. Lord, hallelujah! Oh, brother, that's gonna need brake cleaner for sure. Okay, you guys wanna know what just happened? I think we pulled that pump off 5 times, maybe more. So after, I didn't film because I was pissed off, but I swapped all the internals, put the clean pump with the old internals on the goddamn car. This son of a bitch was loud even when you start it. Like not even only like just revving like it was earlier, it was loud all the time. So I was extremely pissed off. So I just took the old internals, put them back into the old pump, put the crusty pump on the car, and I don't even care.
You do care.
Well, I do. I'll fix it. Like I'll clean that pump up eventually somehow, or just buy a whole new damn ass pump. So as of right now, power steering pump is good to go. It's crusty, but hey, it doesn't make noise, and that's a little bit more important than it being crusty. Good shit. I'm gonna clean up the shop and hopefully maybe go drive it around the block again. Another quarter mile. We're on our first little drive right now. Power steering is making a little bit of noise. I think it just needs to be bled, honestly. Other than that, we should be good. But wow, it's a little wild driving this thing again. All right, went and drove it. Power steering made noise, came back, bled it, went and drove again. Power steering is not good to go. Now we are gonna data log the car. So this is just, I don't know what to say. Chag Tuned is doing all the tuning on this thing, and we haven't sent him any sort of data from the car yet. So we're gonna get a startup log, a idle log, and then a cruising log as well, just cruising around the neighborhood a little bit. Because obviously we can't go too far with her torn apart like this. Might get in trouble by the popos. What do you say there, Bobby? How's she looking?
No, I don't want to talk. Take a look for yourself.
That's sus. You're acting sus. I thought you were my tuner. That's so cool looking. Look at that. Beautiful car with a beautiful sunset with a beautiful Bobby Wallace. All right, my friends, that is going to be a wrap for today. I am happy with today's progress. Not happy with the power steering pump, but at least we have a pump on the car now. Of course, that crusty thing doesn't really match the rest of the engine bay, which it's okay for now. We did run into a few more minor issues today that I just noticed. That's why it's back up on the lift. So we'll discuss that in tomorrow's video and kind of try to go through and diagnose all of those problems that we just found out. She runs, she drives well. Got some logs sent over to Chag, and it sounds insane. This turbo spool sounds just like the Evo 10. The T51R mod from TurboLab of America sounds absolutely insane. I really like it, and I think this car is gonna be a ripper when we're all finished up with it. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow.